So you have all this carnage, all this brutality, all this violence, the weapons, the sharp objects. And then we have my guest here, RJ Singh, following that up against Stixx. Career versus career. Like we kind of mentioned, this was all set up in the previous chapter. Very personal kind of vendetta established between you two. So it's kind of Stixx was like, hey, you have this cushy teacher job. Wrestling's all I have. And then you kind of go back at him about him traveling to America, not finding success there. A bunch of stuff that was covered in that promo. And that promo, before it, I didn't know you guys were associated with each other at all. But whatever it was, 5 minutes later, I'm like totally into it, totally invested. And obviously very high stakes here, career versus career. So whoever loses, they don't just leave progress, they have to retire, allegedly. So
like all good wrestling retirements.
Yeah, exactly. you're the Ric Flair of the UK.
That's it.
But yeah, we talked about the entrances earlier. You come out, Sing is King by Snoop Dogg. All the dancers, all the streamers, just an incredible presentation. And Stixx, at the same token, comes out. He comes out is wearing like a regular ring jacket, but then he turns around and grabs his chain, which like is what he made his name off of, is coming out with that chain around his neck. So the reason I like this is because the way you come out is as if it's your last match. So it kind of sets the tone of like, okay, these guys are like building this up like it's the finale on both of their careers. So feasibly any guy could lose. So, and going into this, I didn't really know who lost. I was guessing you because I knew you went into commentary eventually. But going into this, I think you guys did a good job at establishing, who knows who's going to win this.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the major things here was there was so much behind the scenes that kind of went into this, like with Glenn, one of the Progress owners. He was an actor, obviously, and so he worked a lot on the promo stuff with us.
Yeah.
Because he, obviously he kind of wanted it, and he wanted it just like how he envisioned it. So he helped us a lot with that. Obviously, we were able to draw on a lot of personal history, so a lot of what we said, and obviously we did talk to each other beforehand, and we're like, I'm just going to mention this, I'm going to mention your divorce, and I'm going to mention your daughter and stuff like that. And so we knew we were going to say stuff that was really personal, and that we knew that when we reacted to it, the crowd would react because they would be like, oh my gosh, they actually said that about each other. I can't believe it. And then, and obviously we said about the big entrance, and I wanted to do the big Bollywood entrance, and they, Progress would call that. But I think but Stixx, like, again, I think that was the thing, the layers we kind of tried to add into this as well. So like Stixx having not come out with the chains for a long time, like how he used to, it was kind of like, I'm going back to the old Stixx. So obviously why he went back out, came back out with the chains again. And what I think was amazing as well, like he then, and this was Stixx's idea, he just said, like, on your entrance, I'm just gonna be in the corner like I'm praying, and I'm not gonna move the entire. And if you watch the entrance back now, he doesn't shift at all for like the 5 minutes of my entrance.
Yeah, that imagery of him sitting in the corner with just facing away from the ring, and then the shot, because it shoots him from the face, and then in the background you see you and all the dancers dancing and the music, but he's just there so stoic. Like it's an incredible image.
Yeah, that's it. And I think, and again, it's like you say, it's the real juxtaposition of the two things. You've got this lively, loud entrance going on, and he's just there the whole time. And I think that was really fair play to him. That was his idea, and I think that paid off really well, because, like you said, it conjures a brilliant image when you watch it back.
Yeah, for sure, and that really sets the tone of the match. So you guys both make your entrances. Immediately, there's "You're both awesome" chants, so the crowd clearly respects you two. You kind of meet in the middle. Jim Smallman says, he clarifies that whoever loses this has to leave Progress, or has to leave wrestling, not just Progress. No handshake. You guys just go back to your opposite corners, and the match gets underway. So you guys are kind of staring each other down in the beginning, and right off the gate, you just hit him with a roll up. 1, 2, and then kick out. Like, it's very like, oh shit, we're going now. So the intensity, I think that's one thing about this match. The intensity that you guys showed was prevalent both in the beginning and all the way through the end. And it is honestly, it's just a very old school match, but just done very well. You weren't trying to, out high fly Will Ospreay later in the show. You weren't trying to out gimmick the match we saw previously. You guys knew that this match had a really good foundation, and I think you guys executed it really well.
And again, I think, the story we were trying to tell is two guys who know each other really well are trying to get the victory really quickly over the other, because neither wants to draw this out, as it were. Especially in the early part of the match, like neither wants to draw it out, so it's kind of be like, right, we've got to try and win as quick as we can.
Yeah, and you guys are, and that's it, because there's a lot of counters in this match, because you guys obviously know each other very well. So it kind of, what it does is force you guys to do things you wouldn't normally do. So, like, for example, you knock Stixx to the outside, and then you go to the top rope and hit this crazy moonsault to the outside on the Stixx. I don't know if that's a common thing you did, but
not to the outside.
Yeah,
the moonsault press around, was part of my arsenal, and I think if you go back to chapter 12, you see me hit it on the London riots, but never to the outside. But I was like, again, I said Stixx like this because we're going high stakes here, and like the whole thing's supposed to be high stakes. I did it to the outside. The only thing I really remember about that, because it's quite early, I think it's fairly early in the match. It's quite early in the match, isn't it?
Yeah, fair, yeah.
So when all I can remember is I think it's my right leg, my right knee comes down and really clocks him. Like I really clocked him with that, or with my right knee on his head. Ooh. So two thoughts go into my head of like, oh my God, like, have I just broken his neck? Because I really felt like I connected. And the second thing, this shooting pain went through my knee. Ooh. And I was like, oh no, like, I suddenly
right at the beginning too.
I had this moment of panic of like, oh my God, am I going to be able to get up and walk and stuff like that? So, but luckily it was one of those things of like, he was absolutely fine. He's got very hard head Stixx, always has done. So he was fine, and I shook it off as well. So, but I'd never done the moonsault to the outside. I'd never done that before. I'd only ever done moonsaults inside the ring. So, but again, my trust for Stixx, the fact that he's the size of a barn door also helps. Because I knew he'd be there for me. So It was, and it really was like, I'm just going to close my eyes and I'm going to jump, and whatever happens, happens.
Like you said, you can't miss him. He's a big bloke. So.
Exactly. So yeah, I did, like I said, I really remember having that moment of panic.
So yeah, and talking about the match, you hit that moonsault, and classic Stixx has to outdo you a little bit. So he does. So you're on the outside, kind of like leaning against the front row. He's in the ring. He sprints towards the rope, hops up to the top rope, and leaps at you, but you get out of the way. So he just goes cascading into the first couple rows of chairs, which is again, it's like you guys know each other so well, so you have to bust out all these crazy moves that you wouldn't normally see, which I like that a lot. Then the guys finally get back into the ring. Stixx is able to fight back a little bit. He hits a boss man slam, but doesn't want to go for the pin. Hits a second one, still doesn't want to go for the pin. And hits a third, goes for the pin, even though he doesn't want to end your career, but he goes for the pin. But you kick out at 2, and then so you're fighting to get back up. You've just been hit with these 3 huge slams. Stixx charges at you in the corner. You counter with a super kick. You hit a Falcon Arrow and then a Sington bomb for a 2 count. Beautiful swanton, by the way. You see a lot of guys, they overshoot it or whatever, but perfect. Very Sin Cara-esque, or sorry, Sin Cara. Then so you both you guys get up. You kind of hug in the middle of the ring. You're kind of overcome with emotion of what this match is doing. But you dirty dog, you push him off out of this hug. Super kick to the chops. For a 2 count. I thought that was it. I was like, man, this smarmy dude's gonna get this win this way. Stixx responds with a sit-out power bomb of his own. He gets a 2 count. Really good false finishes towards the end. But ultimately, that damn Stixx hits a brutal cross power bomb onto yourself, and he pins you, gets the win, and then you just never wrestle again after that. So
ever.
But yeah. Great match. I mean, what was any other thoughts as far as what went into it, or what was happening during it?
Yeah, I mean, again, the hug spot I think was Stixx's idea. I think he said that he was like, let's have this moment where we, we're both down, we both get up, we look like we're about to go for it, and then we kind of hug. But then straight away, then bam, it's like we've had that moment of we're still friends, and it's like then bam, hit me with a super kick and go for the go for a chin, and so. Again, I think, I had said, a year before that, like, this is probably going to be my last year, because at the time it was, I really felt it was, just because the way life was turning out. So again, it was that kind of the mission of the match. Even though most people pretty much knew it would be me losing, it was to try to convince them otherwise. It was like, let's just see if we can try and convince them that actually, it might be Stixx. It could be. I think that's kind of, again, that's what we were going for. But there's one bit we did. I think it was the twist. There was like a sit out powerbomb he does, which isn't the finishing powerbomb. It's another one. We actually stole that from Eddie Guerrero and Test. I think from WrestleMania.
Oh, really?
17 or 18 or something like that. We'd seen it, and because the way it sets up is like I run into Stixx, he sort of twists me and then twists me again, and then does the powerbomb. We were such a big fan of that. We'd done that, and we hadn't done that in about 5 years at that point. We were like, let's throw that in again. Let's do that. Can we still do it? Well, let's find out. But the final thing was just the powerbomb, because I've taken that powerbomb off Stixx multiple times, and every time, without fail, it's knocked the wind out of me completely.
It looked like it. You felt like a bag of rocks.
Just literally every last breath of air just leaves your body. And I don't know if it wasn't this one. We did it back in, I want to say, like 2004. We did that to finish a match back in 2004, and he really chucked me up high, came crashing down, and then so it knocks the wind out of me. And this is back in 2004, and then he pins me with his hand on my chest. So not only have I lost the ability to breathe, he's further restricting any chance I have of breathing.
Right.
I remember that back in 2004, just going, "Thank God that is the end of the match," because I actually genuinely don't think I could get back up and continue on. And I had exactly the same feeling in 2014. 10 years later, he hits me with the same move, and I just had the same feeling. I'm like, thank God that is the end of the match, because I've got no breath left in me, and that is it. So, and that's it. And then, and it was weird. It's weird seeing it back now as well, like at the time, because I was like, wow, that's like the final 3 count. And that was, and yeah, it was a surreal moment. It was a surreal moment, and it was kind of that, because I think when the 3 count went off as well, I don't think there was that massive pop of like, whoa, but it was that kind of like, oh my God, it's actually, that's it. The 3 count has actually happened. Like, that's it. And that was the kind of the atmosphere of the crowd. That's certainly what I remember, at the time when we were doing the show, was that crowd just kind of had that, oh my God, it's actually, wow, gosh, it's actually happened. They've really gone through with it. They've really done it. There's no screwy finish. There's no screwy twist here. It's like that they've gone ahead and done it. So, yeah.
After the match, I was waiting for somebody I was waiting for like Stixx to hit you with a low blow or something to happen. But no, it's really just you lose. You cut a great promo for thanking the owners, the wrestlers, the fans. The king has left the building, as you put it, which is a great line. Then you leave. The music plays. You leave, and that's just like, again, like I'm waiting for something to happen. Like, oh no, Singh can't be done. Like something's got to jumpstart here. But nope, you just leave, and they cut to like a side by side image of you and Stixx, your stare down in this match, and I guess one of your first ones. Do you recall what that older picture was from?
Yeah, it's from like 2002. So the older picture was from like 2002, when we were both like that was like in our second year of wrestling, I think it was. So
right,
we again, Progress had asked for some old photos of us together. So like the month before, I'd emailed him a load of pictures, like pictures from our weddings and all kinds of photos, and
that's cool.
It was great. So it was great that it was almost a happy accident, pardon me, that we had recreated the second photo of like the two of us with the referee in the middle, and then we kind of went back, and so it was cool that we that they had those side by sides, and it was really great.
Yeah, that's a great shot. Yeah, for sure. It's in Stixx. Is Stixx still going nowadays?
Yeah. He took some time away a couple of years ago. So he owns a wrestling school up in Nottingham called House of Pain. Very successful wrestling school. Then he's just in the last month upgraded to a new building with 2 rings, multiple gym equipment, stuff like that. And so, but he took some time away. He needed to refresh about, I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago. He took about a year away from the ring, spend some more time with his family, just concentrate on the wrestling school and get the wrestling school up and running. And then, again, got the bug, came back refreshed, got the bug again, and has been wrestling ever since. So still going strong.
I just saw a picture of him recently. He's looking jacked.
Oh, he's big old boy is old Stixx. Yeah, he always, always was. And again, at age 40, he's looking great. He's looking great for his age. So
right, yeah, both you guys actually are looking like way more jacked than you are in this match for whatever reason.
Yeah, he's
aging like a fine wine.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm probably in better shape now than I was back then. And as I say, so Stixx as well. So
right.
But, yeah, and it was nice. They kind of they gave me the mic time, and there was genuine tears. Like at that point for me, it was looking out to the crowd. The crowd, there's loads of people crying in the crowd, and Jim as well. Jim was stood in the ring, had a tear in his eye as well. So it was a really really hugely emotional moment. So. And to have that kind of moment was great. I've got there's some really wonderful photos as well. Me stood on the turnbuckle for the final time, and everyone stood up.
Yeah.
But it's true. But I did tell a story. I kind of hinted at it in the promo at the end, where I say, one day I'll tell you all about the story about the guy who nearly turned down Progress. And that's a true story, because when I first got contacted by Progress, I mean, no one had heard of Progress. And they messaged me and they're like, "Yeah, we're going to be running in London." And no one ran in London back in that part of the late 2000s. Nobody ran London because no one could seemingly get much out of London for shows. And they're like, "We're coming to London." And I was like, I was emailing them back and forth, and I was like, what kind of promotion you're looking to be? And they were like, "Oh, we're kind of going for this strong style, Ring of Honor, Dragon Gate kind of style." And my actual genuine reply was, "And you sure you want me?" Like, "Are you sure you want me?" Like, I was like, "It's not really what I do." And they were like, no, we think you're perfect. So I nearly turned down Progress entirely. And that's kind of what I alluded to in that promo. So, but and this will be a nice segue here. But I did that. What followed was the interval. So that our match brought us to the interval, and I pretty much spent the interval going around talking to people and thanking everyone and still in my gear, and all that, and then I actually I lost track of time, and I don't know if you can see it. You might not be able to see it on TV, but so I was actually still out there when Ospreay and Robertson started their match.
Really?
I was still at the bar. So
that's hilarious.
It was either just as their entrances were going off, or once they'd got in the ring. I think it might have even they started. I kind of edged myself away around the cameras and then to the back again. I was still out there.
The thought of you like having this real emotion, you have this great match. You give a great promo. It's emotional. You're like seeing all your friends in the back. It's this great moment, and then you have this next bullshit happens as this is going on. So like you said, that's the basically the main event going into the halfway main event. I don't know is that is a term, but it goes into the intermission, and during the intermission, they hold a raffle, and boy howdy, whenever they show the raffle on the DVD, some shit's about to go down.